What's up, everybody? It's Stephen Williams, founder and president of the creditrepairshop.com. I want to go over uh, some questions and answers from YouTube subscribers and viewers on their credit situation, different things that they're going through. Probably be able to help you out if you have some of the same questions. But before I get started, I want to talk about something, because this channel is just not about trying to give you all of these strategies and techniques on fixing your credit and getting out of debt. Because if it was just about that, you could pick up any book or watch any video and you wouldn't need to watch anymore again if it was just solely about that. A larger part of the problem that you're facing, and this is going to be hard for a lot of people to hear, but I had to tell myself this at one time in my life with various things, but we're focusing on credit and debt, is that a lot of you don't, you can't fix your credit, you can't get out of debt, you keep struggling, you keep running that same circle and cycle over and over and over again in your mind. And that's because you are not willing to take full responsibility for your actions. And on the other side of that is that you don't want the responsibility of a person that has good credit. And now let me break that down for you. Do you really want good credit? Well, let me tell you what, on the surface, yes, you do want it. But let me tell you why, some reasons why you may not be successful with it is, and this is going to wake up a lot of people, or some of you may not be ready to hear this yet, but I'm going to say it anyway, is that you may not be ready in your own mind to take the full responsibilities to pay your bills on time. Because a person with good credit is going to have to pay all of their bills on time no matter what. To pay your bills on time, you're going to have to manage your money. A person with good credit, a person who has low debt or little to no debt, or that manages their debt, is going to have to manage their money. They're going to have to manage the use of their credit. They're not going to be out there just spending money that they don't have. A person that has good credit, a person that has low debt, is a person that also has the ability to save money. How much money do you have saved right now? With what's going on in this economy, and if you lost your job, could you sustain yourself for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? I did this for myself years ago. Years ago, I said, many years ago, I said, if something was to happen, what is the situation that my family is in? And I said, no matter what, at first I said I had a 6-month goal, then I had a 1-year goal, then I had a 5-year goal, and then I had a 10-year goal, then I had a 20-year goal, and I really stopped after 20 years. So that means that if everything stopped for me right now, everything is covered for 20 years for me and my family. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go that far, but what I'm saying is that that's part of having good credit. So when I talk about it on my channel, when I say that it's not going to be the same as it was before, and that your mental thinking, your thoughts could be holding you back from being able to repair your credit because you're afraid of what you're going to have to do on a day-to-day basis forever. You know, it brought a thought to my mind of something that happened last year, and I shared this story. When my wife and I started our business in 1990, our first company, and we still had that company, an advertising business. We were in a one-bedroom studio apartment. We had two children. We were 20 years old, 20 and 21 years old. And our neighbors used to make fun of us because we were making this little advertising magazine that we were going to get businesses to advertise in, and we were going to make all of this money. That was our dream. And they used to laugh at us. Even some family members made fun of us. And then last year, while we're driving in our uh, Land Rover autobiography, $150,000 car that's paid, $150,000 car, one of the best driving vehicles that I've ever driven. Don't let anybody tell you that if a car is expensive, that it's just expensive with a name. No, it's more than that. Only people that don't know say stuff like that. But we were driving our car, we were going somewhere, I think checking on a property, and we saw this guy holding a sign that said the $5 pizzas, pointing over to the store, to the pizza place that sells the $5 pizzas. And we took a good look at that person because it was at the corner at the light. We took a good look at that person. And that person that was holding that sign was our neighbor that used to live next door to us more than 30 years ago. The one that was laughing at us. And I'm not saying this to make anything about what he did in his life. But I remember what a lot of people used to say to my wife and I, and a lot of it was, you're going to have to do this, you got to do that, you're going to have to do that. We accepted the responsibility. We accepted the responsibility because you're not going to get to where you want to be unless you burn that bridge behind you that keeps you comfortable with where you're at today. Burn it. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to know what's going to happen on the other side. Trust in yourself that if you keep doing what needs to be done, that it will happen for you. That's what we did. That's what we did, and that's what you got to do. Yes, you got to repair your credit. But are you willing to, after your credit is repaired, to keep things the right way? Keep paying your bills. Or are you going to get your credit fixed and then you're going to fall right back into that trap again? Because many people do. Many people file bankruptcy and they end up in the same situation later after they file bankruptcy. Then they're in debt, trouble with their debt again. They have bad credit all over again. So a part of this is what we do, but a larger part of it is what you do, your thinking, your willingness to say, I'm not going to go back and I'm going to take full responsibility for my actions. And if I'm working with a company to repair my credit, let them do what they're going to do. And I'm going to do my side because I believe, because I've seen too many files. I've seen too many people that had the same issues and were able to knock it out of the ballpark for that individual. And that individual over there, it just seems that there's always problems with them. And the problem with them is because when you put stuff out in the universe that it is not going to work for you, you put stuff out in the universe that you're not going to be responsible for what needs to be done in the future, you put that stuff into the people that you're also working with. Walk somewhere with a face where you're looking like you're upset. Walk into any place and you look like you're upset and see what happens from the other people that never said a word to you, that you never said a word to, and look at their reaction to you. That same thing happens, even though someone doesn't see you face to face. But if that's your attitude, you send that signal out to everybody and you get back that type of result. Okay, someone asked me, they said, Steve, and this was a damn good question that this young lady had. She said that, how do I know that someone knows what they're doing if I don't know what I'm doing? That was a damn good question. And some of the time I have to sit down, relax, and think because I do this stuff every day and I might make it sound so easy and so simple, like you could just do this and that. And that's because I've done this stuff thousands and thousands and thousands of times. And my wife gets on me about that a lot because she say, you know, you made that sound too easy when I was explaining something to somebody. You got to always take it to the lowest level. I don't care if you're advanced, but we're going to talk about it on the lowest level for every individual and then we'll move up. When you're evaluating if someone can do what you need them to have done for you, across the board, everything in life, the first thing is you need to listen to them, what they're saying, because there has to be some type of introduction, because that's just the way that everything is done in our world. So where most people are stuck is that they're listening to people, but then they're not watching the demonstration. If you can't see a demonstration, then you need to ask about the process. So on here on YouTube, you see a lot of my demonstration of what we do and what we can do, but it's different for everybody on because everyone has different specific needs with their situation. But when you're talking to someone and they did not demonstrate, you need to ask them about their process. And it can't be surface. It can't just be we're going to repair your credit. We're just going to dispute your stuff out. There needs to be some specific process on how they're going to do that. And then you have to trust in that process. And you have to do your side of the work. Your side of the work is your thinking. Your side of the work is not doing things to hurt your credit while you're trying to get your credit repaired. So you need to understand that it's going to take work, that you're not going to get from one situation. It's not like fixing a car where you take out one piece and you put this piece in and it's supposed to work good. You can take that to some mechanics and that won't even happen. Credit repair and getting out of debt is a process. Step one of the process is your thinking, is your willingness to take full responsibility for your situation. Because in the end, and this is our process with the credit repair shop, if you speak to anyone or you go to my website, everyone says this, is that we have an 8-point validation process, 8-point validation system, and a phase 2 settlement process. That means that we will take you from A to Z. If the items are validated, then you're going to need to go to a settlement process. And if you're not willing to go through that settlement process and you're not willing to take on the full responsibility to get yourself to have good credit and to get out of debt, you are not willing to take it. And I can say that because, and don't say like it's easy for you to say, I was in the same situation as all of you that are watching this video, and probably even worse. Because in 1994, I had bad credit and I had $300,000 in debt that I had to deal away with. And it took me from 1994 all the way to 1999. And what if I would have quit? I wouldn't be right here able to talk to you about this today if I would have quit and said, there's no way I'm going to get out of $300,000 in debt. And I wasn't making $300,000 a year at that time. All right, so let's answer some questions. And I'm going to put the timestamp on here. Okay, hold on one second. Let me pause video. Okay, this is one question someone put on here, that their car was repoed 4 times since 2014 and they're currently 45 days behind. The maturity date is October 15th of this year. What should they do? The balance is $12,000. Santander has these weird things with this maturity date and this and that. What basically what happens is that Santander becomes a debt collection company for your car, which in some states it is not legal for them to do. If you watch some of my other videos, there was one, the last one that I showed. I think you just read this. Well, it was one of the videos that I have on here. I'll have to put the link below. But basically, Santander is not in some states, not all states, allowed to even do that because they're considered a debt collector. And once they take the collection of your auto loan payments as a debt collector, not as a finance company, that is technically illegal. In my state of Wisconsin, individual won a lawsuit. Several other states, Georgia, other states, there's thousands of people that have won lawsuits simply based on that they thought they were dealing with a finance company, and all of a sudden they're getting calls from Santander stating this is a attempt to collect a debt, and they're like, "But I'm paying you as a finance company." That'd be like your credit card company calling you and they're saying we're a debt collector attempting to collect a debt, when what they would usually do is call you and they say, uh, "This is customer service, and we want to see what's going on with your payments." So uh, you should probably consult with an attorney in your area. The maturity date, I'm not sure what they're going to do at that time point. They're probably going to try to say, can you refinance? And they're going to try to balloon that up to $24,000. You never know. You never know with this company. Okay, we have another question here. It says, question about debt validation. Is it wise to remove obsolete, invalid, or inaccurate personal information from your credit report? Of course, you're supposed to. It's wise to do that. I hope you're a real person. I hope you're a real person. But yes, it is. You should remove anything that's inaccurate on your credit reports, and all you have to do is send them a dispute stating that the information in your personal data is inaccurate or incomplete, and you can have that removed. We always do that with our customers because if you have your name showing one way and it's spelled the wrong way, if you look at your credit reports, it says that you have an alias name, and you don't want that because that could be something where a lender could think that you're trying to change your name around so you can hide and get financing from someone else. You don't want to show them your real name because you're thinking that they can't put two and two together. Another person here just said that they got a 1099-C for a car loan. Can I get the title now? Absolutely, yes. You should be able to get the title because what they're doing is they're stating that they're canceling the debt. So you need to submit to them to get the title. Let's see. Another person said their truck was repossessed September 1st. Whoa, just the beginning of this month, and they just paid uh, 3,800 bucks to get it back. Loan matured in February 20th, 2020. The truck had been sitting since August 2019, and she says she's going to get the truck because she says she needs it. And uh, so I mean, I'm not against if people need their transportation because I mean, some people are going to have to work their way out of this by uh, paying on the loan and then at some point maybe trying to settle on that debt because they did move it over and became a debt collector. And that brings that to mind when these loans mature and they slide them over to the quote unquote Santander debt collection company. There is potential to settle that debt for less at that time if you have the funds to do it. But some people are going to have to either get a car back or do settlements or figure out a way to get this debt off of your back so you can move forward. Let's see here. Someone said that if you're being sued by a debt collector and they send the information to your previous address, what happens if they do that? They only have to show proof of service. If it was a residence that you really lived at and there was no forwarding, some of them don't even want it to be forwarded because they're trying to trap you and go and move it to court and try to get a default judgment. But if it was sent to a previous address and you didn't, and they have not got the judgment, or they just recently got a judgment and they sent it to you saying that you have a judgment against you, what you should immediately do, because there's a time limit on this, request that they reopen the case so you can go back into court, and then you also ask for a debt validation uh, when you go back into court. If it's past that date, there's not a lot that you can do. Some states allow it if you can prove that they did not truly try to serve you the right way. Some states will allow it to be reopened past a certain period of time, but our state here in Wisconsin is only 6 months. All right. Okay, someone asked what specific law was I referring to remove Chapter 7 bankruptcy. There's no specific law on removing a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. What I was speaking about is that they cannot display your bankruptcy, Chapter 7 or Chapter 13, inaccurately on your credit reports. And you might be saying, well, what do you mean by it's inaccurate? Uh, what I mean by that is some of the times they will not even put the bankruptcy number, the file name number on there. They have to put that on there. Sometimes they'll just say bankruptcy and have partial information about it. That's an inaccuracy on your reports. But something else that's even that's a technicality. Something else that was done last year or the year before. My memory is missing me on this, but it was either done last year or the year before. Was that the bureaus had an agreement that they were not going to display the bankruptcy information in the public records unless it was something that was uh, recently done, but they wasn't going to just have that sitting on there for that long period of time. And so what we had been doing is we had been using their own words, saying that they were going to get bankruptcies and certain public records removed off of the credit reports because they felt that it was unfairly hurting people for something that they've already paid the price on by having to file bankruptcy and go to court and go through that whole entire process. So if you have a bankruptcy on your reports, first thing you should do, get your credit reports and look at it to see how it's being displayed on there. If there's certain things that you can look for, are the case numbers missing? Is the actual court information missing? Was it truly a Chapter 17? Was it a Chapter 13? There's always, from what I've seen, there's always some sort of mistake that's on there when it comes to the way that it's being reported, or it may be reporting properly on one but not properly on the two. But that would be the first thing, is to just figure out what's not showing properly on there. And step one would be if they have all of the information about your bankruptcy on there. If they don't, that's an uh, incomplete entry on your credit report. Uh, Other thing that you could do is that they get the information from a different source, LexisNexis, and you can ask them, uh, how did they get that information to put that on your credit reports? And did you give permission for a third party to share your information that way? And when if you submit to the courts, they're going to always say that they never shared your information with the credit reporting agencies, that they only put it on their public for the courts. and then LexisNexis pull that data and put it on your credit reports. So you can actually, and that takes a little bit of work to do this, a lot of work. Let me rephrase, it takes a lot of work. You may have to do some, if you don't see anything that's wrong with it, then you're going to have to do some disputing with the bureaus to uh, and also the LexisNexis saying, uh, why did they display your personal data on the credit reports? Like, what show you some type of documentation that allowed them to share your information, and you can go back and forth. And we've seen it be removed simply by doing that because these companies don't want to get into any back and forth about sharing your public information the wrong way. There was just one lawsuit settlement, and I did a video on it with Equifax. They had uh, in their public records section where they had put bankruptcies and tax liens, and those were, really people did really file uh, have tax liens against them and had filed bankruptcy, but because of the way that they got the information and placed it on the reports, that was illegal, and they ended up paying out people $1,500 uh, for the violations on there. So there's always a way to work on it, but it just takes work to get the job done. Someone else here said I have a small amount. The creditor is not cooperating. Well, what are you meaning by they're not cooperating? Is it where they don't want to settle on the debt? Uh, like give me some more on that. But let me just, from what I'm taking from it is you have a maybe a small amount and the original creditor is not cooperating on the debt. What you could do is you could pay it off. If it's a small amount, pay it off. That's a take responsibility and just pay it off and don't deal with those people anymore if you had problems dealing with them. If it's a collection agency and if it's a small amount and that's what's holding you back from improving your credit, pay that off. The money will come back to you tenfold. Pay that off. Get rid of it. Uh, Someone said that they wanted to personally speak to me about buying a because they're trying to buy a house. Well, I'm not able to speak to everybody. And my employees, I have 8 full-time employees. They all know what I talk about here on YouTube, and they also know about from dealing with our other clients, and I've trained them on stuff. So uh, please call the number. And we do have a new number because the company that bought the company that had our other toll-free number uh, totally ruined the system on that. And I just told them I'm not going to stay with them, that we're just going to move over to another service. Let me get that number real quick. Our new number is 1-800-803-7390. 800-803-7390. 800-803-7390. Okay, let's go to another one here. Let's go here. Someone said that, that on one of the videos I showed, debt was not was not legitimate. Yeah, on when I showed the debt on my videos from the debt that's being sold, and they said, yeah, the debt is not legitimate. Yeah, that's true. It is not legitimate debt, but these debt collectors collect millions of dollars worth of that debt every year because people don't know their rights. They don't know that this debt is not legally collectible, but because they owed the debt sometime in the past and it comes back on them, they get emotional and they make a mistake by paying off or working out a deal with those debt collectors. All right, so we're going to end the video here. Uh, hope people are ready to move forward. And I really appreciate your time. Please like the video. Please get notified. Uh, please post your comments. I get in here and I'm going to answer them by video or answer them by typing them in. Please visit our website, thecreditrepairshop.com. If you need your credit scores and your credit reports, please visit the website your the number 3scores.com. Really appreciate that. That's one way that I help support the channel. And also just stay positive, keep moving forward in life. Things, if they're not looking up for you right now, they're going to get better. Keep running that through your mind of what you want, not what you're experiencing right now. And you will see that when that day comes, you will not even remember the way it was, the way that you're thinking of it right now. This is Stephen Williams, founder and president of the creditrepairshop.com. Thank you, and until next time.